Good morning. The Friday, July 31st, 2026 regular City of Knoxville Public Officer hearing is called to order at 9:33 a.m. I'm Nicholas Bradshaw, the public officer designated by the mayor as described in the City Code of Ordinances, Article 6, unfit buildings, and charged with addressing properties in the city that are out of compliance with the adopted codes of the City of Knoxville. The adopted codes include the 2024 editions of the following: International Fire Code, International Building Code, International Residential Code, International Plumbing Code, International Mechanical Code, International Fuel Gas Code, International Existing Building Code, International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, as well as the 2017 editions of the ICC ANSI Accessibility Code, 2023 edition of the National Electrical Code, 2018 edition of the International Energy Conservation Code, and the 2018 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code. The public officer is authorized to hold hearings, administer oaths and affirmations, examine witnesses, and receive evidence and issue orders as the result of his findings in determining the condition of buildings that are dangerous, unfit, and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants and/or public. The procedure for the public officer is as follows. Each case will start with a report and presentation of evidence by officers representing various city departments. Today, this will primarily consist of, but is not limited to, evidence presented by Mr. Scott Elder, Neighborhood Codes Enforcement Manager for the City of Knoxville. Mr. Elder is employed by the City of Knoxville and is certified as a property maintenance and housing inspector. Following the city's report and testimony, the owner or owners and/or their legal counsel, as well as any members of the general public, will be given an opportunity to respond. The public officer has the authority to limit this time as per his discretion. Today's agenda will be modified to hear the cases of property owners present at this time and in the order signed up as you entered the hearing room. We make this accommodation to minimize any inconvenience to the owners and members of the public here today. For those actively participating in today's meeting, thank you. Your involvement and active participation is appreciated. As per legal counsel, I need to read the following notice of demolition into the record. Any person who intends to perform work on a structure that the public officer has placed an order against shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. For orders issued by the public officer, please be aware that just obtaining permits and starting rehabilitation of a structure does not invalidate the city's power to take corrective action, such as demolition of a dangerous structure, regardless of the amount of work performed by the owner. All orders are still in effect if the rehabilitation work has not been completed and the structure has not had all final inspections approved within the time provided by the order or by an extension if one has been granted. Remember, if rehab is not fully complete or an extension is not in place, the structure may be demolished after the order time has expired or after any prior written extension of time has expired without any further notice given to the owner. All right, are there any questions before we swear participants in? Seeing none. All individuals testifying today will need to be sworn in. If you are testifying today, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Ms. LaFew, please advise me of any individuals who arrive late and need to be sworn in mid-hearing. And with that, well, Grace is so far away from me today. All right, well, Ms. LaFew, what is our first property today?
2314 North Broadway.
All right.
Good morning. This is a request for an affirmation of an emergency order that you issued on July 17th of 2026. This property was inspected by the building official on July 15th, 2026. It was also inspected by the Knoxville Fire Marshal on 3 different occasions: June 4th, 2026, June 17th, 2026, and July 12th, 2026. Both of those departments found significant code violations, and therefore the building official found the structure to be unsafe, unfit for human occupancy, and unlawful. Per section 108.1 of the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code, such structure shall be condemned pursuant to the provisions of the code. There's several representatives from each of those departments here to elaborate on the specific code deficiencies. Plus KPD's here as well. They want to speak about some overall concerns about public safety at this location. So they can speak in turn as they like.
Okay, do we, I know we have a representative of the owner here as well. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay, well, why don't we hear from the other city representatives and then we'll do the owner. So Who else would like to speak from the city?
So Christina McGrawn's Tillery with the City Law Department. I wanted to start by just noting for the record that we have passed out a packet of 4 different attachments. Any place where there's an email where legal counsel is involved is not intended as a waiver of confidentiality or privileged information. But the first attachment that you have in your packet, which was also provided to the owner's representative, is the order from you, Nicholas Bradshaw. Based on the evidence, please proceed with the emergency order for this address under the terms that you described, where Scott Elder had submitted the list of violations and issues with the property. And the second attachment, which did not have a paper clip on it, is the timeline KPD has put together, and at this point, I'll ask them to walk us through that.
Morning, sir. My name's Captain Nevin Long. I'm the East District Commander for KPD, and this address in question resides in our East District. Starting in early April of this year, we started getting numerous complaints about this business, which apparently was operating as a nightclub establishment. We started getting multiple complaints of parking issues in the surrounding neighborhoods and businesses, numerous issues with trash, including alcoholic and sexual materials, and then started getting several complaints about large gatherings and disturbances in front of the location. We started following up with those issues. I did observe that they were occurring and that this establishment was operating as an apparent nightclub. Based on that, we started requesting additional assistance from the fire marshal for KFD. And subsequent to that, we had an aggravated assault that was reported from the location on May 6th that was supposedly happened inside the nightclub. It included an ice pick as a weapon. And then later on June 13th, responded to a shooting in front of the nightclub that involved serious injuries. And there's an attempted first-degree murder case currently in progress for the courts in regards to that.
Is there anything else you wanted to add to that? Okay, thank you. All right, at this point, I will turn us to the next piece of the packet, which is the record from our Knoxville Fire Marshal's office, and I'll ask you to go through that, please.
This is Captain Kevin Boss with the Knoxville Fire Department and the Fire Marshal's office. We had first received an anonymous complaint from the public the last week of May 25th, I believe, about the activity at this nightclub. And we tried to make a couple of visits that week during the day to establish if we could get any contacts of owner, management, or anything. We were unsuccessful in that. After talking with KPD, seeing some of the issues they were having, on June 4th, we had an on-site where we posted the business vacated. We placed that on the front door, and I left my business card attached to it. I had a call that evening from a Travis Fair who informed me he was the new manager at this business and wanted to know what the vacate sign was about. I explained to him that he was improperly operating a business there without permits, and I explained to him the process he would need to go through the building department to obtain those permits, the review process, and all that involved. He said that he would take care of that the following day, which was Friday, June 5th, and apparently they took the vacate sign off the front door and continued to operate that weekend. So we had reports from KPD of the situations that took place over the following couple of weeks. So on June 17th, again during the day, after a few attempts to make contact with Travis, I obtained his phone number through the business tax office with their business license. Had no success with that. So again, during the day, on June 17th, we reposted the vacate sign on the front of the business. It was subsequently taken off again, and they continue to operate. So the next step was on July 12th. We went out that evening with myself, Peter Aarons, and KPD. We had heard from a patrol officer that they appeared to be open. So around midnight that evening, we went on site, made contact with business owner Kim Fair. It's our understanding that's Travis's mother. And we had a good conversation with her explaining that the club was operating illegally without permits and that they could not open for business until they got all of that taken care of. I again posted a vacate sign for the third time. And then we left the property. It's my understanding that they removed that sign and opened that night a couple hours later. I believe KPD responded and cleared everyone out again a couple hours later that evening. My next report, Peter was able to make contact with Miss Fair, and she agreed to meet us on site for an inspection of the property. This took place on July 15th, approximately 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And again, after walking the property, we advised her of what she needed to take care of as far as going through the process to get legal and get a certificate of occupancy. And I wrote a report, that's the last report noted, that she signed saying she understood what needed to happen. And that was the last interaction I had.
All right.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we'll turn to the last paper clipped attachment, then starting with the notice of use determination and code violations. And at this point, I'll ask our chief building official and zoning administrator, Peter Aarons, to walk us through this packet.
Good morning. Peter Aarons, Plans Review and Building Inspections. So in this packet, I issued a notice of determination and code violations. It summarizes everything. Although they have a business tax license, on July 12, as you previously heard, I went out on site, found them to be operating as a nightclub with the current certificate of occupancy is for a Boost Mobile organization with a total occupant load of 11. And there was obviously more than 11 that evening. And so on July 15, that Wednesday, I reached out to Ms. Fair and we visited the site, walked through, determined from a cursory walkthrough, basically measuring the space, seeing how it was being utilized. We calculated the occupant load based on the building code, found the occupant load to be about 150. And so with that occupant load, you need 2 means of egress, you need panic hardware on the doors, you need fire sprinkler system. There's a lot of things that this structure did not have. So realizing that it's my opinion that when citizens go to a business, they should expect a certain level of safety. And when somebody goes into a business as a nightclub and they are not provided the level of safety that the code requires, I think it's my duty to reach out and try and alleviate those problems. And so I reached out to KUB, the utility provider, and said this is a dangerous situation, and it's dangerous to all of the occupants that unknowingly enter this structure. And so I requested that they pull the power to alleviate this problem, and I sent them an email on July 15 articulating the items that were deficient and that produced the dangers to the citizens of the city. And I believe that Friday evening, they did pull the power. And so we walked through what the requirements were with Ms. Fair, and we have not had any applications for permits to this, at this point.
And Mr. Aaron's, the zoning code under, beginning at 9.1 states that with this being a commercially zoned property, a nightclub is a special use that requires approval from the planning commission, is that
Yes,
right?
Yes.
To your,
Upon-
to your knowledge, have they ever applied for that
No.
or received that
No,
permission?
no, no.
Okay.
That would be part of the permit application. That would be the first item that we would identify as a necessity. And we would direct them straight to Knox Planning to go through that special use process.
And the fifth page, the application screen for the business license, about halfway down where it says business type, am I reading correctly, where it says lounges, taverns, and bars?
You are.
Okay. And this notice was sent as soon as practical to prevent the danger to health, safety, and welfare of the community.
It is. It was. It was the day after we visited the site.
Thank you. Nothing further on this.
Right. We have a representative from the owner signed up to speak, I believe.
Yes, we have Mr. G.I. Suleiman.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could please approach, state your name and address for the record.
Name is G.I. Suleiman. First name is Jiyayyi. Last name is Suleyman. I am the operations manager for the Boost Mobile next door. The initial plan for that building when purchased was to put a Boost Mobile, but we came to agreement with our old landlord to stay there. We leased out the building to Travis Fair for a vape or smoke shop. Gave him
For a what? Excuse me?
a vape shop.
Vape.
Yes, a vape or smoke shop. And I believe I sent the lease agreement, I forgot her name, I emailed.
Was it LeFew?
Yes. The lease agreement saying that it was supposed to be a vape shop, we didn't know. It was a nightclub until we got the first mail in April, and I sent Travis a lease violation that he has to agree to go through permitting codes, if you guys would like to see that. After this was sent out, we didn't hear nothing back from the city nor Travis until the July mailing that we got from Nick McBride's office. At that point, we sent Travis another certified letter saying he has to vacate in 3 days due to a safety issue. We had no knowledge. All these calls came through, and we want to apologize to you guys. We like to do business the right way and the safe way. I mean, we've managed that Boost Mobile store 6-7 years now. We've never had any major issues, no fights, no nothing, maybe an upset customer here or there. Our plan going forward is to release that building, but they will have to have a business plan that will need to be submitted to the city before a lease agreement will be signed for them. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I do apologize. Didn't know none of these calls came through. I know safety is a big thing. Public service is huge, and you guys have a lot more to deal with than some guy who wouldn't listen and follow the right path to get his business set up. So that's it for me.
Well, thank you. Any
May-
follow-up?
May I ask a question
Yes,
briefly?
please.
So in Mr. Aaron's packet of information, there was a letter sent on April 14th notifying you about the unlawful use, and also on June 16th. It was sent to the property owner, Mohammed Bawar, I hope I'm saying that correctly, at 308 Ocala Circle, Nashville, Tennessee. Is that a current address as far as you're aware?
The address it should go to is the 4655 Nolansville address. That's our office address.
Okay.
That's where, that's where our mailing, that's where we got the, Mr. McBride, the main packet that was sent out in July.
Okay, if that's the case, I just want to alert you that the property assessor's records then have not
Yeah.
been updated because
Okay.
the Ocala Circle address
Okay,
is
so we
what's
should-
showing in there,
okay.
which is probably why you
Yeah.
didn't get some of these
Yeah,
communications.
and then, I mean, we didn't know about any of this calls. I mean, if we did, we would have probably taken enforcement a lot sooner than getting the last packet of a complaint and to come to a public hearing.
Okay, and would you mind repeating that address so I can write it down? for my records?
4655 Nolensville, that's Nolensville, Pike, and that's in Nashville, Tennessee, 37211.
Okay, that will help us in the future if there are any
Yes, ma'am.
problems. Thank you.
In order for you to get your power turned back on, you'll need to have whoever the tenant is or yourself pull a permit to establish an occupancy. So that they'll have to have a floor plan showing us what they're doing, how they're doing it, and we'll evaluate it per the code.
Okay.
And then throughout that permitting process, that's when we can reestablish power.
Okay, it's probably the same steps we took when we went from the flower shop to the Boost Mobile.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when Travis asked for the site plan, I forwarded that to him because he said he was going through the city to work on the documents, but I guess he never did. I guess he was just lying to all of us. And I did forward his information, his driver license number, and his phone number to Ms. Layfew. I believe that's her name too. And the building is vacant right now. We will drive by there right after this. I think he did leave one car in front, but if he doesn't get that moved today, I will get it towed.
Just while they're discussing this over here, do you own the building next door as well?
Yes.
Did you all demolish that recently?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
and
so.
I mean, we pulled permits for that.
Sure, right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well-
Yeah, I mean, we know the steps, you know, we follow the correct steps, you know, get a GC and all that. You know, once we got the first notice, we told them, hey, follow the steps. We'll give you 14 days. If the city agrees with it, we're fine. We just have to revisit the lease and make it correct based on the business you're doing there. Liability reasons.
Right.
And we never heard anything back until the July letter, and then I told him, you have to get out, you got 3 days.
We sure appreciate your action since then.
No problem.
Thank you.
So, did you have a question?
No, it's,
Well, if everyone's done, I was just going to make my formal request for an affirmation of the emergency order that was issued on the 17th of July.
thank you.
Thank you.
That presumably there was no one else signed up, just to make sure.
Correct.
Okay. All right. With that, I do affirm the finding that the structure at 2314 North Broadway is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants. And I affirm the existing emergency order for the structure at 2314 North Broadway. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure will remain placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated. Next item. What's our next item?
1619 Sturchy Street.
Sturchy Street. Mr. Elder?
Yes, good morning. This property was originally inspected, or was most recently inspected on July 24th of this year. The structure is found to be in poor and deteriorating conditions. As you can see there, there's some roof issues there. Utilities have been removed from the property, and the property's become a subject of several nuisance calls from the neighborhood. The rear section, if we can go to that picture, the rear roof section is severely compromised. It's collapsed at the rear. It looks like it's separating from the rear, maybe in addition from the main house. There's damage to soffits, siding and eaves, and the foundation shows signs of cracking. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, this house needs some attention. So I think it can be salvaged. So we're requesting a 120-day repair demolition order for this house.
All right. Do we have someone signed up to speak on this property?
Yes, Mr. Michael Askew.
You could please state your name and address for the record.
Michael Askew, 1619 Sturgis Street.
All right. What's your testimony on this property?
Well, it's going to be rehabbed. What is your name again? You're the hearing officer, right?
Yes, sir. My name's Nicholas Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. Okay. Okay, Mr. Bradshaw. Process is being approved for a loan to get the work done on the property. Nobody's in the property. It's vacant, and I don't see that it's hurting anybody. You know, with the pictures and everything you got up there, you know, I don't see what the problem is. So, this to me is almost a waste of time, coming down here with this. This is a complete and total waste of my time, but okay, I'll do it, yeah. So I'm here to answer whatever questions you may have put forth.
Yeah, well, I believe Mr. Elder's testimony he just delivered was the explanation for the reasons the city is seeking this particular order. So that's the. Do you dispute the characterization of the property made by
No, it looks
Mr. Elder?
like pictures must have been taken from my neighbor's property, and no, it needs repair. So I'm attending to it as fast as I can get to it.
Okay. Has there been a permit opened or anything of that?
Has it been what now?
Has there been a permit opened?
No, not yet. No.
Okay. Just
Depending on the loan.
additional.
No, I'm asking for 120 days, so it's 4 months. It's actually going to be a little bit longer than that. That's the longest period. So I know that you've been maintaining the yard and keeping things up, so we sure appreciate that. And I think the house can be saved. So that's why I set it for such a long period to give Mr. Askew the time to do that. So I think you've been talking to some of our other folks, maybe Kathy or somebody else, that said that she's happy with the fact that you're mowing it and keeping it up. So 120 days, so it's going to be closer to 5 months before we take any action. So you'll have that period of time to get permits and things going.
Well, my loan should come through before then, so.
And of course, as always, if we do find that substantial progress is being made and that deadline is approaching, you can ask for an extension and we can consider that. And that decision will be made based on the amount of progress going forward. We would rather not demolish any structures. It's just a matter of making sure that these things are up to code and safe for the community. So we certainly want to work with you and help you get where you need to be. Yeah. Anything further on this one?
But my goodness. Some of the other structures around the city, man, first thing, you gotta have somebody with some eyesight come around and look at some of this stuff. I'm gonna give you 4 examples. Here's this cemetery property here off of Keith Avenue. Southern Chain cemetery. I think that's where they buried the black people. It's just horrible. That's an international embarrassment. And nothing seems to be ever done about that. That's number one. Number two, the railroad sidings. Well, right in front of my house there's a railroad siding. Well, as it comes down, the underbrush hasn't been cut. I think there's a major homeless encampment in there. The thicket is just that thick, especially in the summertime. So that's between Proctor and Middlebrook. Two of them, two separate, one on the CSX side and one on the Knoxville and Holston River Railroad side. Okay, so these people got a excuse for everything. Well, we can't do anything about that. That's federal, all of this and that. But that's a real problem I've got. Okay, number three, Mr. Bradshaw. 17th Street Viaduct, looking kind of sad to me. Looks terrible. Hasn't been worked on, since the FDR administration? And the concrete's actually crumbling. And of course, they're building new housing, new student housing, I presume, or some kind of housing, right next door to it. Somebody needs to look at that. Oh, they're gonna say, oh, that's the state of Tennessee. That's not the city of Knoxville. You hear that all the time. And the last one I want to bring to your attention, Kingston Pike at Golf Club Road. There's a big mature magnolia tree. Well, there's a crepe myrtle and a magnolia with live electrical lines going right through the limbs. And that needs to be taken down. That's a dangerous tree. Well, I'm sure that somewhere in some of those codes you cited, that needs to be taken care of. And that's trees, gotta be 50 years, well, maybe older than that, 50, 60 years old. Nobody ever had a time to go down there and snap a few pictures. Yeah, go down there and look at that. Somebody with some eyesight and with some authority. And, well, I'm gonna keep the list short because I know you're waiting to hear from this other guy here.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's 4 examples there. City of Knoxville, seems like they always duck out. See, they're never responsible for anything themselves. But they duck out on all of this stuff. And let's get the codes enforcement people out there. Take a look at that. While the weather's still good. See, good time, just take that tree down off that corner. And yeah, that's about all I had to say about it.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, and thank you. And if you have any questions for the staff in regards to 1619 Sturkey or permitting, we can, I'm sure we're happy to address that after the meeting here. So thank you for attending today.
Okay, thank you.
I find the structure at 1619 Sturkey Street is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 1619 Sturkey Street within 120 days. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair and demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. Ms. LaFew, what is our next item?
111 Fort Avenue.
Mr. Elder?
Yeah, good morning. This structure was inspected on July 10th of this year. Structure was involved in a significant fire and is in complete burnout conditions, as you can see there in the images. Utilities have been removed from the property. The structure has been boarded by the city on multiple occasions. This is a lot of nuisance calls for vagrancy. This seems to be a favorite spot for those folks, and it's most likely that that's what's caused the fire here. And since this fire, there have been no permits applied for to do any repairs. So it's currently been boarded up by the city. So we're asking for, based on the conditions and the danger and the history, an immediate repair demolition order for this property.
We got someone to sign up to speak.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Brandon Morales.
Can you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, I'm Brian Morales. My address is 800 Market Street, Suite 207 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37402.
All right.
In regards to this, really what we're aware of the fire, we've been reached out by the neighborhood code enforcement, Mr. Adam Pruitt. He said that the building was unsecured when they had to go in and assist with the fire. But in the incident report, it's shown that it was vacant and secured. Any notice that we've ever gotten, we immediately reach out to our SVN office in Knoxville and make sure that their maintenance team goes out and boards up the property. And we've already applied for a permit to demolish. It's still in it's an application, and then we've gotten several quotes. I guess our request is we don't want to demolish the building yet. It's not ready for construction, and we're willing to see if we can still, board up the property and delay it for a little bit while we get all tied up ready for the construction.
Did you have a response?
Well, you say till it's ready for construction. I think we can wait until you get a demolition permit, but not until you get development plans approved for whatever the project's going to be. That's too long. We've boarded this multiple times, and you see where we are. The result of us boarding it is people breaking in and possibly dying. So I don't think we can wait for a full development plan. That's why I've asked for it immediate. So if you have an active application in for a demolition permit, we can certainly wait out our own processes to do that. But if it gets beyond, we can speak with our plans review to maybe expedite that. But waiting until you get a full development plan, I don't think is safe for the community at all, as demonstrated by our repeated boardings and the fire.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we already have the application sent, and it's being reviewed right now. Once we get that, then we can move forward. We have several quotes. I don't know if you guys have a specific person that you work with that you can also refer us to, and then we can just start bidding that process.
For demolition?
Yes, for demolition.
Unfortunately, we don't offer recommendations for subcontractors.
Okay.
Our staff would do it. We have, our city crews would do the demolition.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I'd continue to work with your private bids.
All right. Perfect.
Well, sounds like we're headed in the right direction on this. I think if we need to make contact with the building inspections department, as you stated, I think that might be helpful. You can do that today while you're here if you'd like.
Okay.
And staff would be happy to point you in the right direction on that. Any additional testimony on this property?
No, sir.
Okay.
Do you need the application number or the plan number, or I just go to it?
We can look it up in the system.
Okay.
If you want to go upstairs and speak with them and see what stage that's in, if
Okay.
it's in review, or if they're waiting for fees or they're waiting for a site plan, those typically don't take too long.
Okay.
You can even let them know that you're coming from this meeting, the public hearing officer, and it's been ordered to be demolished. And we can reach out to them as well and let them know that, if at all possible, they should expedite that. And we can make that work with them. So, but maybe stop in there on your way out.
Okay. Perfect.
Great, thank you. I find that the structure at 111 Fort Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. I order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 111 Fort Avenue immediately. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. Ms. LaFew, what is our next item?
3105 Boyd's Bridge Pike.
Mr. Elder?
This property was inspected on August 18th of 2023, and it was found at that time to be in poor and deteriorating conditions. Doesn't have any utilities on the property. It's been removed for some time. If you go back one, you can see the condition of this place. It's only getting worse. It's frequently overgrown, so we mow the lot. It's a large lot. Several doors and windows are broken or deteriorating. Signs of vagrancy at the property. I think there's a mattress around back, and yeah, there's just several things that indicate folks have been staying there. We boarded it there, as you can see. Visible damage to soffits, eaves, siding, front porch, front patio covers completely collapsed. And then we boarded it on several occasions. There's failures all around this building. So we're asking for a 90-day repair demolition order for this property.
No one signed up?
No.
I find the structure at 3105 Boyd's Bridge Pike is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. I order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 3105 Boyd's Bridge Pike within 90 days. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. Next item.
2904 Browning Avenue.
Inspected on August 13, but most recently on July 24th of this year. It's found to be in poor and deteriorating conditions. Appears to be a renovation project that was going along in 23, but just ceased to have any progress. It just stopped. Utilities have been removed. It's been subject of several nuisance calls. You can see it's overgrown even in these pictures. We've mowed it several times. Several doors and windows are broken or deteriorated. Vagrancy at the property, that's why it's boarded up. The elevated deck, if you go back a little bit, it's they started building it, but they didn't put guardrails on there, so that's certainly a hazard. Some of the photos you can see sunlight through the roof, so there's open air. There's one you can see. It's exposed to the elements, and the city has boarded the properties to secure it from the public on 2 recent occasions. So we've got no one here. We've not gotten any response to any of our letters. There's some bills owed, so we're requesting a 90-day repair demolition order for this property. They think it can be saved, but someone's going to need to step up. So 90-day repair demolition request.
All right. Seeing no one else sign up to speak, I find that the structure at 2904 Browning Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. I order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 2904 Browning Avenue within 90 days. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. Next item.
Boarding approval for 3105 Boyd Bridge Pike.
Property was boarded on May 26th of 26, and we're asking approval of these boarding charges. This is the one we just looked at a moment ago.
All right. I approve the boarding action taken by the city's Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 3105 Boyd's Bridge Pike due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next.
1105 Chickamauga Avenue.
Boarded on April 23rd of 2026. We're just asking approval of those boarding charges.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1105 Chickamauga Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next.
2928 Dresser Road.
Boarded on May 26th of this year. We're just seeking approval of these boarding charges.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 2928 Dresser Road due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next item.
923 Knoxville College Drive.
Boarded on February 25th of this year. We're requesting approval of these boarding charges.
Just the one?
Yes.
We got two more coming, but different, they technically have different addresses, but it'll be the same boarding dates.
Understood. I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 923 Knoxville College Drive due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next.
933 Knoxville College Drive.
Also boarded on February 25th, 26, requesting approval of these boarding charges.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 933 Knoxville College Drive due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next item.
963 Knoxville College Drive.
Boarded on February 25th, 2026, and requesting approval of these boarding charges.
Is that like a garage door? What?
It's hard to say. It could have been double doors, storefront type,
Okay.
glass doors. It's just hard to say at this point.
Okay.
That's, the boards behind it are our very large boarding project we took on a couple of years ago, and it's not holding. It's holding pretty well, but they're still getting through. We put those red boards up there a couple of years ago as well.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 963 Knoxville College Drive due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next.
975 Knoxville College Drive.
Also voted on February 25th, 2026, and we're requesting approval of these boarding charges. Similar situation.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 975 Knoxville College Drive due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next item.
2310 LaSalle Lane.
Voted on May 19th of 2026, and we're requesting approval of these boarding charges.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 2310 LaSalle Lane due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next item.
1100 Sunrose Road.
Voted on June 12th, 2026. We are requesting approval of these boarding charges.
A blurry one there. I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1100 Sunrose Road due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda today. Being no other business brought before the public officer on this day, this hearing is adjourned at 10:22. Thank you.